everybody, welcome to Sports Bitches. My name is Rachel Benetta, joined by two of my best sporty buds, Megan Gailey, Sarah Tiana. Oh my goodness, we have a jam-packed show today. Let me give you a little taste of what's to come. We are going to be talking NBA Finals. Meg got to go to Game 6. There was a lot of tears. Can't wait to hear about that. She also smuggled a baby in. She's gonna give you the tips and tricks on how to smuggle a baby into a playoff game. Okay,
an Asian baby in.
And honestly,
really,
not even a baby.
Really,
kind of
really
a full-grown
and a full-grown child. She's
full-grown
snuck in
child.
as a baby. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the tea that is happening with Bill Belichick and Pablo Torre, and now Bill Simmons is involved. There's a lot of drama between the gals. Okay, I don't know what is going on between the Bills. And then Sarah is going to be taking us through a little Brett Favre documentary preview. And we're going to get to some more stuff if we have time. But first things first, holy shit, Sarah, you had a crazy weekend. The last time we were texting you, I believe you said I'm blacked out. So I cannot wait to hear. Sarah, you were at Big Slick. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, Big Slick 16, I think it was. It's my 7th Big Slick.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Jean jacket.
Oh, that's what that is. That's
Cool.
sick.
Yeah, this was one of the gifts this year. We always get so many crazy and incredible gifts. And now this year I finally learned not to bring a backpack with me because we always get one. This year's backpack was a cooler backpack, so that always helps. Yeah, really, really fun time. Very successful. We raised $4.5 million for Children's Mercy Hospital, which was fantastic. So obviously the most we've ever raised. The biggest.
Hear that, Brett Favre?
Yeah.
You can also raise money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The most, I think Sudeikis was raffling off, get to spend the day on the set of Ted Lasso 2. I mean, Ted Lasso 4 or whatever with them, or, the one that they're filming in Kansas City, because the new Ted Lasso is going to involve a women's league. Mm-hmm. So they're filming it in Kansas City at the current stadium. And
I did email my manager, and I was just like, hey, I used to play soccer 15 years ago. So if anybody
It's a special
needs
skill.
somebody,
It's a special skill.
If anybody needs somebody, you can call me.
It really is.
Was Mr. Taylor Swift there?
Oh yeah, Travis was there. Yeah, she was not. I said hello to Travis and we hugged and just caught up for 2 seconds, but I sat with Pat and Brittany pretty much as soon as they got there. I just sat with Brittany.
Do you think Taylor has seen you and been like, I don't want you hanging out with her?
Oh yeah, Taylor.
You were flagged. You were flagged too hot.
Travis, you can say hello to her. You can ask about her son, but I'm gonna need you to move away from the blonde.
Wrap it up.
There is zero chance that Taylor Swift
not zero
knows anything, and zero chance. And if she did know who I was, I'm sure Brittany would say very nice things about me. So
yeah,
I was
piss her off more.
Yeah,
I was really excited because Brittany and Pat this time they brought Blake Bell and his wife Lindsay, and Lindsay is the star of Brittany's Instagram, so I was very excited to meet her because I'm I see her everywhere. I need to know about this gal, so I got to meet her. So it was me meeting kind of a local celebrity.
And who is she?
Yeah, who's she?
So she's another. Blake Bell plays on the team. I think he's a tight end. He's another tight end, an up and coming tight end on the team.
Okay.
And, they're very cute. They have two little
sports name.
They have 2 little girls. It's we really just talked mom talk. Honestly, the whole time we were talking breastfeeding. We had a lot of mom talk. And then,
Travis wasn't
I was
knocking
roasting
down the door to be a part of that conversation.
No, Travis, yeah. But Pat was totally into it. He was yep, he would chime in. He's such a good dad. Yeah. So I was are you going to have another one?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
7 years. That is really impressive.
Yeah.
You said there was maybe some late night karaoke.
That's when I texted you guys. You were like, how's it going? And I'm I'm so hammered. I cannot even text. Me and Jason saying, I don't know, I think every song that karaoke had, it was me, Jason, Seth Herzog, Adam Ray, and just like a couple of other friends. It
sounds like a
Can't
damn
wait to get-
blast.
6 of us.
I can't wait to get drunk.
What are you
And,
getting
like,
drunk
it's
on
been-
first, Meg? What are you getting
Oh,
drunk on first?
I've been thinking about this nonstop. I am gonna go to Harry and Izzy's right by my parents, and get a dirty martini. And then I really want to eat, like, it's like, no offense, Indiana, but like I'm gonna have to have like ceviche in Indiana. Because I'm not like, oh, I can't eat sushi when I'm pregnant. I just don't have a taste for it. And so I hope it like immediately comes back. I want to have margaritas. Like I can't wait. My parents'
What's-
neighbors, like grandma yesterday was like, I can't wait to have drinks with you. And I go, I'll probably still go in my diaper.
Oh my goodness. What is the rule? Can you drink right away or you can't because you're breastfeeding? What is how long do you actually have to wait?
I mean, there's definitely people that like don't drink when they breastfeed, and I call them losers. No, they're probably like doing it right. That now there's like enough, like you would have to get. I got so drunk when I was in Vegas, doing 7 nights in a row at the MGM, and then was still pumping, and then you can dilute it with non-drinking breast milk. So I can take like that MGM breast milk that's probably got some vodka sodas and grapefruit coursing through it. And then I can mix it. I do a little mixologist with some sober breast milk, and then we're good to go.
Little mixologist.
Brittany was
what's it
telling
called?
me, not to flex on this, but Brittany was telling me that they can take when you stop breastfeeding, they can take your breast milk and turn it into powder, like formula.
Really?
Like all your
Patrick
like
Mahomes
frozen
can. Yes. I don't know that that's.
They've got a team of scientists
think
in their
that's-
kitchen at all
That's
times.
when they're like,
converting.
people are like, you can have a baby at 50. I'm like, well, Janet Jackson can. I don't know that
Yeah.
everybody can.
Yes.
Sarah, you were #1 star in my dream last night.
I
know
love hearing dreams.
Okay, I was gonna say I know people hate hearing dreams. We were at like a Christmas gift exchange. Rachel, I don't know where you were. It was like I was looking for you.
Okay,
I'm like,
plot
"Hello?"
twist.
Because there were a bunch of like randos there, and then Sarah gave me a floor length fur coat that I was like convinced was real, and then you were like, no, it's faux, but it was so real, and I was wearing it like I was the Empress of the Philippines. Like I was just like in this faux mink floor length coat, and you know what I got you? Nothing. Like I was like, oh, I kept going, oh, I'm gonna bring it tomorrow because I like didn't know. You got me like monogram pajamas. You got me earrings that were my bed. Like everything was so funny. Everything was
Oh
really
my
fun.
God,
Sarah,
these
you
are
are a
great
really
gifts.
good gift giver. You are a really
She's
good.
really good.
I'm like, are you having this dream because I have not bought you a present
No,
for your new
no.
baby? And
No,
this is like your mind.
Well, now you know what she wants. Now you know what you want.
So all my other dreams, I've started having dreams that I'm going into labor because that's like what I want to happen. So I had a dream the other night that my water broke, and then I went to Chipotle. Like I was like, whatever, I'm going to Chipotle. And I kept having my friend Kristen, who's a nurse, just check me and see if I was dilated at Chipotle.
Check me.
Can I get the guac and a little dilation?
Yeah.
checkup?
So that's
Wow.
so it's either just like water breaking or full length mink jackets.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
what,
would
what
buy
color
you
was
that.
it? Was it white? Was it brown?
No, it was that like brown and black.
Ooh.
Like 80s, like high collar 80s with like a big shoulder, but Sarah said it was faux.
I would love, can I make a pitch? Because I know we're going to have a big birthday party for you next year, Meg. What if we did a like a mob wife night out?
I would
where we
love
all
that.
wear
Love that.
full length floor.
Yes.
Fur jackets.
And martinis. So yesterday I found this Airbnb here that's all Colts themed. And I was like, do I have my 40th birthday party there? And then I
Oh
go,
my God.
Yes.
and then I was like, oh, you know how most Airbnbs don't want you to throw parties? And CJ was like, I think this one wants you to throw parties.
Yeah,
He's like, I
I think
don't know if they think it's like
What if we
renewing
had
of
the Colts?
vows.
What if we had the Colts singer like pop up out of the "This is our Colts"? You know what?
Seth.
Forget I even said that. Forget I even said that.
Don't
He
tip.
is our stripper, Seth.
Yeah.
Okay,
man.
before we get into the show, baby sports item. Let's guess what's inside your belly. What was it last time?
Last time it was a flipper.
Okay.
The hint is Sarah loves these. And
Fur coat.
that's the hint. No.
Sarah loves
Baseball
these.
bat.
Yeah.
It's baseball,
Okay.
not a bat.
Catcher's mask.
No, I think we passed that.
Oh, so it's big.
By the way, Cage
It's
is
big.
gets to be the
a plate. Home plate.
A plate. I have a plate. I have a plate inside of me. I have a baseball plate inside of me.
Oh, yes. I mean, well,
Yeah.
if you're pregnant, you've definitely crossed third base.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, Cage gets to be the catcher at his like little all-star team with like the full gear. And like, I don't know if you guys know this, but he is obsessed with catchers. Like he heckles them at baseball games. He'll be like, catcher, catcher. Like he just catcher, catcher. And then the catcher will turn and he'll be like, hi, catcher.
Oh,
Literally, yeah. So he gets to do it. He's doing all it. Like his stance is like so legit.
oh
He'll
my
pull up the
gosh.
mask. He's very into
Wow.
it.
I went to a 6 and 7-year-olds game yesterday, and then there was a 5-year-old on the team too. So the dads are still pitching, and I'm obviously hormonal. I got there within the first 10 minutes. I had a hamburger and a cheeseburger. And no, I had a hot dog and a cheeseburger. And then I don't even know any of these children. I kind of know 2 of the children. I cried 3 times during the game because like a little boy would fall down and be sad, and then he would like make a good play the next time. And I was just like, oh my God. The opposing team had back-to-back home runs and they were down like 17-1. And I'm just like, I'm so happy for these little boys. I'll never know.
Get Conrad out there.
I can see how people I just had my very first experience like playing other little leagues. So we like traveled to another little league to play them, and this team was like a year and a half older than our kids. They had been playing together for over a year. Our kids have been playing together for 2 weeks or whatever. So we got trounced or whatever. But the craziest thing was like, so there's a pitching machine that you have to use, and it's every machine at every field is a little different, and it's manual, so it's not like electric, right? So you push your foot on it, and it like slings the ball. Well, but you have to get the setting correct. So the other team's coach would take the machine apart so that Chris, who's the pitching, couldn't have any access to like their setting.
What?
So then our
What
balls
the
are like, it takes forever.
heck?
The kids are striking out left and right because we can't get the setting right. It was like,
And like, obviously, I had no skin in the game because my kid wasn't playing, but I was like genuinely rooting for every child. And
Yeah.
like, my dad at one point was clapping for the other team, and CJ's like, that's not their team. And he's like, I don't care. They're 6. I just want them to have like a nice time.
I was cheering for the other team too,
Yeah.
but like those moms, like some of the like, because I
Weird.
have to keep scores. They're like, the first kid on our lineup wasn't there, and so they're like, they came over. They're like, "Where's this kid? He's not. Your lineup's wrong." And I go,
Oh my God.
"The kid's not here yet, so just skip to
He
the
probably
next batter.
wet his pants because he's a
Right.
child.
Skip to the next batter," which is a thing. It's just like one button.
Yeah,
Skip
this
to next
isn't
batter,
The
and
fucking
then
pennant.
right, and then he shows up. Then they stop the whole game. They're like, we have to redo the lineup now because it's
No,
all wrong. I go, it's not wrong. I told you in the first place to just skip to the next bat. Like nothing would have changed. By the way, their lineup was wrong, and I didn't make a thing. I just like searched for it. It was like, I was like,
we're
I could see how
sports
people get in fights.
fanatics.
I know.
We're sports fanatics, and we're coming from a place of like, I mean, this like mom, this grandma that I was talking to, she goes, you know what's worse than a sore loser? A sore winner. And like her son-in-law like made the Pro Bowl. Like it's like she is like a professional athlete's mom, and even she's like, just let them have fun. What are we
Yes.
talking about?
I just want to see
Yeah.
people fight. So I'm
It's
actually
weird.
okay with parents v. parents. I would want to watch that. Speaking of crying
Well, yeah,
over boys playing sports, segue to Meg. How was it? How was everything? How did you sneak Conrad in? Give us the lowdown. Game 6. Pacers are in the finals. Woo!
It was really so magical. And I just think like all of the energy here and getting to be here for it. And like, I know everyone keeps talking about how it's like two boring small markets. And it's like, it means so much here. We
Yeah.
went down to the game. We were probably down there an hour and a half at least before tip off. And it is like, it consumes the downtown. Like there was this fan area. Conrad got a basketball wand. Everyone is decked out. And like there's so many people down there, and they're not even going to the game. They just want to be down there and be around the
Right.
Oh yeah.
stadium. And then we went in, and I think it's just like so exciting for people to be like, oh my God, inside the NBA is here. And there was definitely an added sort of emotional element because it was their last broadcast. And so
Wow.
they're having a lot of fun and like rising to the occasion. Reggie is obviously a TNT announcer and gets a standing ovation. We weep for him. There were people like going like this, hailing him. So we bought 4 tickets, but there were 5 of us going. The rule was 24 months and under. Conrad is 37 months old. And so our plan was my dad was the only one concerned. The rest of us were like, they're not going to challenge this. This is just like, this does not matter to them. And so I strategically like picked a woman that I was like, okay, she seems like she wouldn't know what size a kid is. And then like an older like black grandma flagged us over. And I'm like, oh no, if there's anyone who knows what size kids are, it's an older black grandma. But we had Conrad in like one of my hats. So the hat was like big on him. CJ was carrying him. We told him to suck his thumb.
Oh
And then
my God.
all day we were like, if anyone asks you anything, you just say goo goo gaga. And so we kept going goo goo gaga. And so my dad was like, okay, get up there and say 4 tickets and one under 24 months. I go, I'm just gonna give her the tickets and she's not gonna say
Yeah.
anything. And
No.
we got in and she looked at him. She knew, and she was like, have a great time.
Yeah.
And then we got to our seat and we had an empty seat next to us. And so we got a seat
Oh, that's
anyways.
magic.
Oh
That's
my
magic.
gosh.
Yep.
Also, I think it helped that he was in Pacers gear and not Knicks gear. You know what I mean?
Of
Like,
course.
if it had
Yeah.
been a little Knicks baby, they're like, I don't think so.
Yes, and he had like a
Not the sucking
balloon
of the
wand.
thumb.
I also had a diaper bag.
Yeah.
They're always so rude about
Oh,
the
so
diaper
you
bag.
guys were really. This was bringing out your inner theater
Well, I have
girl.
to I have to bring a bag in. Like you're not allowed to have the big bag, so you have to have those like clear bags, and then you have to go to a special place because and they're always rude about it. Man, woman, doesn't matter. They're like, that needs to go over there. And it's like, do you think I want a diaper bag with me? No. I want to be drunk, loose, fancy free tampons falling out of every orifice. And
Yeah.
here I am with this clear, stupid bag looking like a loser 17 months pregnant. So we got in and it was just like electric from the moment we were in there. There were 2 really drunk girls behind us. And I connected with them because I've been a really drunk girl at a sporting event. At one point, they dropped their vape, and then the vape went in front of even us. So CJ had to tap a man in front of us and be like, "Hi, there's a vape." And the man's looking at like, "Why do you have a vape?
Right.
You have this giant pregnant wife and a child." And
Goo
they're
goo
like,
goo
"It's
goo
for
gaga.
them."
Sucking
You
on
got
his
goo goo
thumb.
gaga going on behind you. So we get these girls vape, and then in like the third quarter, when the Pacers really started to pull away, there was like a very exciting play, and I just feel an entire cup of beer drenched the back of me. And I turn around. I thought someone had thrown it on me. And so I turn around and the 2 girls are screaming at each other. And I'm like, did you do this? Like, I'm just like, who did this? Like, was it that man? Like, who was there? Was it a Knicks fan? Like, who did it? And they're just yelling at each other. And she's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to go get napkins. Like, she didn't greet me with like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like,
Right.
what do you need? Da, 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 da,
What
da.
were they yelling at each other for? About
One
who
was
dropped the
mad.
beer?
Yes, one was mad at the other one because she was too drunk. And
Mm.
Oh
so,
shit.
and this is after Vapegate, just a lot of things had happened at this point. And so I was like, and beer got on Conrad. And so it's like, it's
Oh.
all over me. Now it's on my kid. And so I told her, I go, you need to calm down. I was very like motherly, like, we gotta we got to cool it. And they had been like yelling crazy things, but it was like kind of funny. And so then they sort of like sat there pouting a little bit. And I mean, like my clothes are drenched.
Yeah.
And then once it was clear that the Pacers were going to win, I turned around and gave them a high five and we made up.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basketball brought us back together. I was really nervous. I would say like being in there, it felt like the refs were a little one-sided, and that's obviously like bias. You're always going to feel that way, but it was just like Jalen Brunson is headbutting Andrew Nemhard and they're not calling it. Like, what is happening? And then they came out in the third quarter and it was just like, they're not going to lose. They're not, this is just, they just exhausted them. So many fast breaks, and the stadium was just going insane.
What was the
and
what was
so-
the vibe? What was the vibe like out in the streets? Was there a big like watch area? Like when
Yes.
when the Raptors were in the
Yeah.
finals, there
On
was
the
like you could either go inside or you could stay outside and
Yeah.
watch with like the everyday man on like a jumbotron outside. Was that the vibe outside?
Yeah, so there was like a big fan area that we walked around at the beginning, but then we were parked in a way where we took the pedestrian like crossbridge, so we didn't
Oh,
actually end up
yes.
going out to the street afterwards. But my friend said she walked out and immediately just saw puke everywhere because everyone was
Yeah.
just like so excited and drunk.
Yeah.
I actually thought people were really well behaved. I saw Knicks fans being insane. CJ in his video, there's a guy who was just like screaming the whole time. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
what's going on with you? The worst I saw a Pacers fan say to a Knicks fan was have a good flight. Like, we're not gonna be nasty to them. And so then we stayed for them to get the trophy. And it was, I mean, yeah, the moment I cried at the beginning of the game because I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. And I was really
Yeah.
stressed. And then once it was real that it was like, they have won, this is happening, I really broke down in tears.
Yeah.
25 years.
You look
I-
so happy. in that
25
video.
years
So
since you've
sweet.
been to a finals.
What?
25 years since you've been to a
To
finals.
a finals. Yeah.
Right. And you've never won one. Right?
Never.
Okay.
Wow.
Never.
I can tell, I want to just talk about what I was annoyed about is like, because Reggie Miller's walking in with wearing all black, right? And then everyone's like making these comments, Knicks fans are so upset. They're like, he's trolling and he's so clearly biased. And I'm like, first of all, if you're a broadcaster that has played in the NBA, you already have bias. Like, obviously, you want your team. You're not going to not find that, right?
Yeah.
Like, Shaq's not going to not kind of root for the Lakers or sometimes the Magic, right? Where it's like, Barkley's always going to cheer for Auburn. Like, these are things that are always going to
people.
happen. They're human beings. They're allowed to have played on a team. That's why you like them in the first place. Here's the other thing. You're also way more critical of your team if they make mistakes because you're so upset, that they can play better. So there's always going to be bias. There's always going to be, and I don't even think it's bias. I think people just hear what they want to hear. People would do this to John Smoltz all the time or like, Joe Buck. Like people just hate announcers when they're upset about what's going on with their team. There's only one person to take it out on, and it's the person who is talking. And you misread their commentary the way that you misread a text when you're angry. Like all of this is very similar. Everyone just needs to chill. Reggie Miller is there because he is a very good broadcaster and people like him. He would not be there if he was not doing a good job. So that was
And coincidentally, he is the greatest Pacers player of all time.
Yeah,
so
coincidentally.
And he trolled the shit out of you guys. So I get that that's annoying, but that is what it is. And also, like, you're New York City. Get over it. Like, I realize they're very sore losers. That like the people are still sending me stuff of like, no one's gonna watch this. It's terrible to live in Indiana, and it's like, okay, like they like it. I don't know.
Here's
I don't
the
know what
thing.
to like. Do you
This
work
is
for
what-
ABC? Do you really care about the ratings? Does that affect you? Don't watch it then.
This shit happens all the time where people go like, "Oh, nobody wants to see this," and I'm like, every year, if it's a New York team, if it's Boston, if it's LA, people are like, it's always the same teams. And then when you get two new teams in, they're like, nobody wants to watch this. It's like, what's your
Right.
decision? It's one or the other. You
Right.
can't complain that it's always the same teams. And then when new teams come in, you're also mad. Like, period. You're just a mad fan.
Exactly.
You're
Also,
just
if we were
angry.
watching the same Super Bowl matchup over and over and over again, that would
Ugh.
eventually be boring.
Which
Well,
we
that's why people
are.
get
Which
mad
we
at the
are.
Chiefs
Of
because
course.
you're just
Exactly.
annoyed, you know? So
And
it's like, get out.
And I do think of the Thunder and the Pacers. If this matchup is not exciting to you, first of all, it's the number one defense versus the number one offense.
Mhm.
The Thunder had the best regular season record. They're a number one seed.
Yeah,
Both of
they
these
good.
teams are non-super teams. These teams were built through drafts and
Mhm.
trade. The super team is done. It does not
Mhm.
work. The Lakers have an uphill battle because they got their ass kicked by the team that then got their ass kicked by the Thunder. So if
Mhm.
you don't like this style of basketball, which is built through the draft, invest in guys, develop them, you're not going to like the next 10 years. And I
Mhm.
actually think this is way more exciting and way
Wait.
more accessible and something to root for to go, oh my God, okay, I don't know SGA. And like, last year, it was like Anthony Edwards sort of was like, okay, is he going to be a star? He's not a star yet. Like, he hasn't popped off the screen
Mm-hmm.
yet. He hasn't
Mm-hmm.
risen to the occasion. And these guys have. So, like, love him or hate him, Tyrese Halliburton is now a name. People know who he is because he has had an impactful playoff, whether you don't like him or not. I think he's still like an interesting person to tune in for. Rachel, for you, it's the most Canadian finals of all time. SGA
Mm-hmm.
Canadian, Benedict Mathurin
Mm-hmm.
Canadian. I believe Andrew Nemhard is Canadian.
Well,
So we've got
Pascal
a lot
Siakam
of
also won a
Pascal Siakam,
championship for us.
yes, a Canadian hero.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, people are very, very critical of the NBA, and that is so am I. So are we. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is I think that is totally valid. I think these Eastern Conference finals were really exciting and were really
Oh,
fun to
they were
watch.
so exciting. Not even having a horse in the race, people were tuning in, being like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Just like
And
the lore, the
Mhm.
Mhm.
history, how close this series was. So much fun.
Yeah. For people, Knicks fans are being like, they're gonna lose in four. Okay, well then what would have happened to the Knicks? Because we
Yeah.
Exactly.
fucking spanked y'all, outplayed you. We're not even a better team. I think we're probably pretty evenly matched, and you got outcoached and outplayed. So were you gonna beat the Thunder? Is that
What
what
do
was gonna
Mhm.
you
happen?
what are you suspecting is going to happen in the final here?
I am so like genuinely happy to be there. I think the Thunder are obviously really good, but it's not like we're coming up against this like historic team. We're not coming up against the Warriors of the three-peat. We don't really know. Have the Thunder looked great? Yeah. They
Mm.
look really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also think the Pacers have that thing of like destiny on their side. There seems to be some like magic in the air
Mm-hmm.
where it's like they shouldn't have beat the Cavs 4-1. No one had that. No one had that. They shouldn't have come back in that game one against the Knicks. And so, yeah, do I think it's possible that this is a 5 or 6 game series? I do, but I also think that like the Pacers are not going to go down without a fight. And I don't know that we know enough about the Thunder to go, they're just going to go into the NBA finals and cream them. I don't know that we
Right.
know
Yeah.
that much yet.
I also think it's really exciting to have a team like going into the finals, even if you don't feel like your team is going to win, it's like, ooh, the next few years are going to be so exciting because this is how
Yeah.
far we got, barring any like big contracts coming up. I think that that's also like, you're kind of
Yeah.
just happy to be there. Like when the Raptors were in the
So
finals, I was
happy.
like, this is freaking
Yeah.
amazing.
So
And then
happy. And
And
like
then
it,
KD got hurt, and then I was like, we're gonna
yeah.
win.
In 2000, we came up against a Kobe Shaq team, and I think it was 5 games. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you make it to the finals and you come up against a better team. CJ thought the Cavs were going to win it all. There's people that thought the Celtics were never going to lose a series for the next 5 years. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's going to be what is annoying though? There's 2 days between every game.
Yeah,
You
that is
guys,
the
so
fact that they don't start till
annoying.
Thursday. It's
Guys,
like
they gotta
it's
rest up.
wild.
They gotta rest up.
I'm just
A
like
lot.
two
It's a bit.
days.
It's a lot of stress to have to wait that long for the
Did you
game.
guys see what happened in Paris after PSG played this past week? Like, Paris is on fire. Like, cars are burning, windows
he
are
French?
smashed. PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, the soccer team.
Oh, I
Oh.
thought you were talking about SGA.
No. What do you think is the equivalent? Like, what does Indiana look like? What does Indianapolis look like if you guys win?
Oh, we just run through the cornfields with naked. We just take off all our clothes.
Ouch.
And the thing is, the saying here is for the corn, you need to be knee high by the 4th of July. And that's when you know that it's going to be a good harvest. And so if you're knee high, then you can see all our parts. Our hoots, our toots, our boots. And so I think we're going to be running through the cornfields. I think people
Okay.
are definitely going to be shooting off shotguns. Yeah, I think it's going to be pandemonium. I went to the neighborhood pool yesterday, and as has been well documented, Tyrese Halliburton lives in the neighborhood. Tyrese Halliburton's girlfriend posted a picture of our sign, not just on her stories, on her Instagram
No
carousel.
way!
Huge for the Gailey family. Was our address in it? Yes. And you know what? That's fine. Come on over. And so I'm at the pool yesterday, and there's a woman, and she's in head to toe Pacers gear, which is like common right now, but it looks really official. And then I'm like listening in deeper, because I'm an eavesdropper. And she has like 8 Icelandic people with her. And I'm like, that's kind of weird in central Indiana. And then because I'm nosy and know so much about the Pacers, I was able to figure out that it is Jenny Busek, who is like second in command. She is the blonde female assistant coach that you see on the Pacers bench.
Oh, yes.
But like
Love her.
legend, played in Iceland,
Yeah.
and has been like Rick Carlisle's like second or third in command for the last 4 years. And
Wow.
she lives in the neighborhood too. And then she ordered a local pizza place to the pool for these Icelandic people. And I was like, I love this bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power.
Okay, that's the tea.
Yeah.
We're all going over to Megan's house later. Meet us there.
She played for the Cleveland Rockers, and she's been an assistant for the Mystics, the Miami Soul, the Seattle Storm, Sacramento Monarchs, Sacramento Kings, Dallas Mavericks.
Holy
So she's
shit.
like, she followed Rick Carlisle, and then she's been here since 2021. So
Wow.
2-time WNBA champion as an assistant coach. And she's a badass, and she was really pretty, and she had a lot of like fun bracelets on. And Jenny, if you're listening, I want to be your friend.
Well, I had been pitching her to come, like, to try to get her on our show.
You have?
So
Oh, you totally should. Well, now you have the
Yes,
in.
'cause I'm-
Now you have the in. Go knock
Yeah,
on her
no,
door,
I'm like,
Meg.
can you just go
Yeah.
knock on her door and tell her that we sent her an email? No, I want to wait till after the fight. Obviously, she's a little busy right now.
She's busy. Yeah, she's
So I'll wait till she's
Well-
like super happy because,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I'll ask her.
She had a really
Good
nice
luck.
car, so I
Good
think
luck
she's
to
getting
the
paid well.
Pacers. I hope so. I hope that you guys win. It's going to be very fun to follow along. Okay, I have some football tea to share. Are we ready to dive
Yes.
in?
Ready, so
Yes.
Okay, this is a bit of a two-parter.
Okay.
So number one, Bill Belichick, back in the news, has been in the news despite we're playing zero football at this point. So when he was hired as coach of the Tar Heels back in December, his contract buyout started at $10 million per year. But he negotiated a clause to get that down to $1 million as of June 1st. People thought that that was going to be like a parachute plan in case he wanted to go back to the NFL.
And so
Then
he would have to give them $1 million back?
No, I think the buyout just went from $10 million to $1 million.
But wouldn't
But
he
who's
want it
buying
higher?
out?
He
Yeah,
wanted to be 10 million.
No, I think he would prefer to coach in the NFL. So that's why he negotiated this clause like, hey, I will lower my buyout so that you guys will let me go.
I see.
Okay. Okay, we were
Okay.
both like, huh? Give him the 10.
So that date was June 1st that this 10 million
Okay.
dropped down to 1 million. So everyone's
Okay.
been like, oh, okay, interesting. But obviously Bill's not going to go and coach in the NFL. So people's minds have changed and been like, well, maybe we'll buy him out for different reasons now because there has just been so much drama in this offseason with Bill and his girlfriend, Jordan. Okay? So that's one part. I don't
Okay.
think that happens. Ticket sales are up 22%. People are going to show up. People are going to watch North Carolina Tar Heels for the first time, maybe ever.
Yeah. The boosters do not care. The boosters are like, she's hot, let her do what she wants.
Exactly. Okay, so that's part one. Still the drama is happening with them. Part two. Shout outs to Pablo Torre. He has been doing the Lord's work on his show, Pablo Torre Finds Out. You guys can watch his YouTube channel.
It's an incredible.
It's really, really great. Zach was on it for a different story, and like the extensive research that they put into this show is like actually really something to admire. It's crazy.
Pablo went to Harvard.
Exactly. And period.
And he's a Filipino icon.
Okay. So just to, in case you guys haven't been following along, here are all of the things that Pablo Torre has discovered about Jordon Hudson and Bill Belichick's relationship. It's quite extensive. First things first, he found out that she has, there's been some discrepancies with her age. Sometimes she'll say that she was born in 2001. Sometimes she'll say that she was born in 2000. So their deep dives have basically, allegedly indicated that when Bill Belichick and Jordon Hudson met on that plane in 2021, she was actually 19 years old. Okay. So there's been some lying about the age.
And the plane.
In the plane.
We need to see those TSA. I want to see the footage from when they both went through TSA to meet on that plane.
He also unearthed this Ring camera footage. So Jordon was staying at this Airbnb a couple summers ago, and the Airbnb owners were like, we're pretty sure that there's a prostitute staying at our house. Like their radar was, as soon as they saw her come in, I guess she had said that she was some sort of dancer. And then this old guy started showing up and they were like, what the fuck is going on? So they were like, wait, is that Bill Belichick? So they send the Ring camera footage to their friends being like, guys, we're not like big football fans, but this looks like Bill Belichick, don't you think? Somehow, through passing that video footage around through their friends, the video got leaked. Pablo had it, and then it was put out there. So these Airbnb people were like, something is really weird happening at our Airbnb. Turns out it was Bill and Jordon having like a little bit of a love nest.
How many years ago?
I don't know exactly, but maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, it
like
was before
it wasn't.
roast,
it was before.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like a
year
year
before everything came out. It was before they had.
It was before they were publicly dating.
It was before they were publicly dating. Speaking of hard launching, Underdog. This is another thing that Pablo uncovered. Underdog, fantasy sports network, whatever, was doing a commercial with Bill, and Bill was just like, "You got to deal with Jordon. Jordon is my manager. She's my agent. She's going to go through everything." So Jordon is on set pitching herself to be a part of this commercial and having it be the hard launch of her and Bill dating. There are reports that, she was just like, no, I'm going to be in this commercial. So they shot a bunch of takes of her sitting in the background in like a yellow polka dot bikini. Yeah. And they didn't end up using any of the footage because they were like, this is fucking insane.
Sure, the cameras are on. Yeah, the cameras are on. We swear.
I support her.
Didn't she show up in the bikini and be like, here's what you're going to do?
No, I think she had showed up and she pitched herself, and then she's just like, BRB. She comes back in the full bikini, is on set. She's just like, no, I'm going to be in this scene.
And
so
I would
she's sort of like injecting herself.
I'd like to be on record that I support this.
Okay, good.
It's tough times. She's like, she's trying to get my SAG card,
You're alone.
I know. I know. And that's why I wanted to make it clear that I personally support
Okay,
this.
so then, the emails get leaked. I don't know if that was necessarily Pablo, but it's leaked that she has been, Bill has requested that she has put on all of his emails going forward. And I do feel like there is a good reason for that. He says, I get so many requests for sit-down interviews. She's experienced in PR. I think maybe she went to school for PR, whatever. And the emails that were leaked, I will say, I was like, oh, okay, she knows what she's talking about. No, because they were like very professional. They were talking about Stephen Belichick being referred to as Stephen Belichick and not Bill's son, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the reason for that. Pablo went to UNC and he was just like, since you are a like public university, we the public need to have access to, we can request records, and you need to give them to us. And they said no. So Pablo is threatening to sue North Carolina right now. That is happening currently. They were supposed to give him the files or like whatever he was requesting on Friday. So I'm assuming we'll find out this week what has happened. So all of this stuff, he's unearthing all of this information. Specifically, I think the biggest thing is that she was maybe 19 when the two of these guys met, which is crazy. He also found footage of her at training camp for the Patriots when he was still there.
Oh, wow. So then
she was always showing up in red pants because allegedly Bill requested her to wear red pants so that he could easily spot her out in the crowd.
Oh.
Like, it goes on and on and on. Like, seriously, it is so impressive, all the things that they have found. This week, or a couple of days ago, Bill Simmons of Ringer and ESPN fame went on his podcast and said this, which I think is really spicy. Pablo is pretending to be a journalist. I've never seen anybody dine on a stupider story for a week and a half while pretending you're a journalist. What the fuck was that? Seriously. Belichick's dating a girl. Oh, let me do 9 shows about it. Settle the fuck down. That's what Bill Simmons said about Pablo.
Sir, you made a whole documentary about
by the way,
Celtics winning last year that no one cared about.
And by the way, what?
It's just like he also did it during not like his regular sports podcast. Like it was like during the rewatchables and just like in the middle of it, he just like throws shade at Pablo
really?
in the middle. Yes, they're like talking about a movie and then he's just like, and by the way,
I got a bone to pick. So then Pablo fired back, and guys, buckle up because this could get juicy. Pablo says this, he tweeted this out. Dear Bill Simmons, since you have such a strong public opinion about my work, I happen to have a few questions for you specifically. Unless you're afraid of Pablo finds out and someone just pretending to be a journalist, of course. Thanks, Pablo. Now, here's the thing. Maybe this is too inside baseball, but us having worked in sports media, there's some tea to uncover. Yeah. And I would say that this could get fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Simmons wants Pablo Torre to do a deep dive.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't want Pablo Torre to do a deep dive on me.
Don't go near my shit.
Him. Yeah, I would just be like, oh, I don't need someone from Harvard investigating me.
No.
And there's really nothing good to find, you know? I've said it all here. But yeah, it seems like a weird, and like, Bill is the biggest Boston guy of all time. Bill Simmons. And so it's like, that's his friend, you know, like, I get that there are people being like, this is weird that Pablo has like run with this bone, but it's like everyone loves this bone though. It's like
these are probably like the most watched episodes of
this.
It's not saying like he is really great. His show is great and we highly recommend you check it out. But this in particular, I mean, we're finding out about the greatest NFL coach of all time, perhaps meeting a just barely legal girl,
sex worker.
Oh, by the way, that was another thing. That was another thing. I don't think that Pablo unearthed this, but I found it in an article. Did you know that her mom owns a sex shop? Her mom owns a sex toy shop.
I also support that.
Yeah, I support a sex toy shop, and I, you know,
of course, and we support
of
sex
legal
work.
age. She's of legal age. I don't think, you know, there's nothing illegal about what they're doing. I think the public concern is that for me personally, is that he feels like a very vulnerable old man, very willing to do all of he can do whatever he wants. He has earned that, but someone forcing their way into his life and then trying to control it feels very
predatory.
It's weird.
It feels predatory, and that's what I don't.
And
like.
then the real estate part comes in.
And like from the beginning, this story has been big. So it's not like Pablo blew this up. Like the moment we saw a picture of them together, everyone was like, stop,
Wait.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Because it's crazy.
It's just such a drastic, because like also didn't Linda throw some shade at her about something, remember? Like
Yeah, he had
she
like a
said
long
something.
time age appropriate girlfriend.
Yeah, Linda and
Yeah,
him
her
were
name is
together.
Linda.
Yeah,
Right.
like she was on the cover of, the magazine of like their local magazine in Cape Cod or whatever. Like, so I feel like Linda threw some shade in some way or in some interview. But then, you know, the other thing was sorry, I just lost my train of thought. That's the old lady in me.
The other thing was that the other thing he unearthed was that there was going to be a reality show, but I do
Wait.
not
Oh,
think that that is
what
going
I
to
was
happen.
I was gonna say is that she, meaning I don't know her
Jordan.
name. Don't
I
Jordan.
love that. I love the
um
commitment to the bit of
not
not remembering her name.
Jay, yeah, Belichick's little girlfriend, Young. She posted a letter to Pablo saying she was going to sue him and then took it down.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so I was
And
like,
it was very
yeah.
much like, hate has no place in our home, you
Right,
know.
yeah. She said she was gonna seek, press charges or,
Great.
like,
Great.
and
Please.
I'm like, I don't think you want to come at Harvard's Pablo Torre.
I will say,
Yeah.
is Pablo Torre the strongest, most almighty person in all of sports media right now? Like, I would not want to fuck with him.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
wait.
no.
Eddie is saying that Dan Levitard said Pablo is going to go on Bill Simmons' pod.
Oh!
Oh,
Because
I
even when
mean,
Actually, I don't like
battle
that. I
for the
don't like
ages.
that. I don't like
What?
that. I wish that they
It better be
want them to
live.
fight.
It better
they're
be
gonna
live.
make up. It's gonna be like lame. It's gonna be like, listen,
even
hey,
when
I just said
even
this
when
thing on the rewatchables.
Pablo is on PTI, his vocabulary, it's
He's
so
very
like
smart.
he's coming up against Tony Kornheiser usually, who is like I think of, was a renowned sports journalist for decades, and he's pulling out these fucking SAT words that I'm like, what is he
Yeah.
talking? Like he's very smart and
Yeah.
very nice guy. He's a great guy too.
Also, I don't want Pablo going on Bill's podcast. I would much prefer Bill go on
Yeah.
Pablo's because
Yeah.
Bill's gonna. Who knows what he's.
Well,
They're gonna
also
edit
think that if
something
they're
or-
going to do it, they should do it live. If I'm Pablo, I'm like, we do it live.
You know who's shaking
Do
in
it
their
live.
boots right
That way
now?
other people are recording it. And then so
Who?
like if Bill does take something, Simmons takes something
Yeah.
out, then it
Yeah.
gets like even bigger.
I think who's shaking in their boots right now is our good friend cousin Sal.
Oh, you know what? I was
He's
gonna
like,
text him.
he's like, Pablo, leave me alone. Listen, you don't want to see my taxes.
You don't want to see my brass knuckle collection.
You don't
from
want to
the
see
rookie
what I've
days.
spent on the Mets. I spent too much on the Mets. Okay, I spent too much.
That's so funny.
Can we
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh,
another
this is good.
scandal?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
So I don't know if you watched it too, Megan, but I finally watched
I
the
watched it
Untold,
last night.
the Untold Brett Favre stuff, and I had talked to Jen Sturger about it because she and Rachel are friends, and so I saw Jen at the Laugh Factory, and she was just telling me like that she fully supported it, and she had a lot to do with it, making sure that her
She's
story was
heavily
told correctly. But I still didn't really know a lot about it, and wow, I cannot believe that she's still never met Brett Favre. So, he contacts, so
No
she's
way.
working for the Jets after she's, been shown at the Florida State game that Busberger calls out, right? She's working for the Jets and going around doing the in-stadium stuff. She starts getting all these messages on Facebook Messenger from some, like, just a random name. It's like, Skyrocket, blah, 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 right? And so she's like, and it's like, I want to meet you after the game. I can't tell you who I am, but like,
Ooh.
and she's just like, this is
Oh,
a
okay,
joke.
yeah, I'll come meet you.
Yeah, sure. She's like,
about?
I don't know who you are, and I'm not, like, this is a joke, very funny, whatever. Never really never even really responds.
Also, Jen is
just
so beautiful. Like, you don't think that this is a dime a dozen for her. Like, I'm not going to come
Right.
meet Big Rocket 69 in the parking lot.
Yeah, right, exactly. So then she's just like kind of keeps ignoring it or whatever. Then she gets a text like of the dick pic, and it says that it's what from the email address, and the email says Brett Favre at TD link or whatever. And then the guy who's helping her at the stadium is like, how did he get your number? And she's like, I have no idea. Like, I didn't give it to him. Like, she's had zero communication. So someone from the Jets organization gives Brett Favre her phone number. He starts harassing her. She does not respond. He's like, you got to tell somebody. And she's like, if I tell someone, they're going to fire me. And he's like, they can't do it. It's illegal for someone to have given your number. So cut to, she doesn't respond. He leaves. She gets fired.
She does tell some people, and they're like, "Oh,
She does
okay,
tell
whatever."
some people, and they just ignore it.
The Jets organization not doing their due diligence on something.
So she's still working for Deadspin, who's like, partly, she's been writing all these articles for them. She had been on a touring show with them. She moves to LA. The head of Deadspin and her are just talking about stuff, and then I guess some like story about another celebrity sending a dick pic was like out in the world, and she's like, oh man, that happened to me when I worked for the Jets. And then he's like, what? And she's like, oh man, I knew I overshared. She's like, doesn't even tell him who. She's like, that was off the record. Please do not mention that. Do not talk about it. She doesn't tell him who it was. Then she gets a message from him the next morning that's like, the story's coming out. And she's like, please don't do that. Like, I do not want this to happen. They get the pictures that somebody hacks her email, gets the picture. They go, oh yeah, we paid for them. She was not paid. Whoever hacked her email got paid. Mm-hmm. And then the story comes out, and then her life is ruined. Mm-hmm. Because everyone's like, oh, this girl's like just trying to scam off of
clout chasing.
My favorite part of the whole thing was just like how much of a philanderer Brett Favre was when he was at Green Bay, right? And so then his wife gets cancer, and all these reporters are like, they've been covering him. They've seen it all, right? And then this guy's editor's like, Brett Favre's wife was just diagnosed with cancer. Like, we need you to write a piece on how he's a family man. And the guy goes, I don't write fiction. Absolutely not.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was interesting because like at one point Jen is like, she finds out that like Brett Favre is trying to meet her, she's like, I'm trying to keep my job and I look a lot like his wife, and they look almost identical. Because I asked CJ, we were watching it, and I go, if Brett Favre wanted to meet you, are you going to the hotel? And he goes, no. And I go, I'm going. Just want to
wait. So I have a question. I have a follow-up. The first contact was him messaging her on Facebook Messenger. The second contact was a dick pic?
No, he started calling her and leaving her voicemails.
Yes.
I mean, it was
nonstop.
Yeah, and it was like,
at what point did he reveal that it's him?
I think when he started calling, she could tell it was his voice. And then there were times where they would be in like the tunnel or be in like similar areas in the stadium, and he would be trying to get her attention. And the security guard that is with her, who I think they have a special connection, honestly. He was like, this guy's about to go play an NFL game. Why is he like trying to get this girl's attention, basically? And so it's pretty heavily featured. I think Jamel Hill does really good commentary on how it always ruins the woman's life and nothing happens to the man. And then they get into the misappropriation of Mississippi welfare funds. And like, when a man who's an athlete or has power is like a scumbag when it comes to women, you go, yep, that tracks. But to be a scumbag in two totally different ways, and like, I think the three of us really love where we're from, to take welfare money from the place where you grew up and is actually the poorest state in the country. And it's like, Sarah, you just did a fundraising thing. Sometimes people do massive dinners. They do banquets that Brett Favre could show up at 8 people's house and make $1 million just auctioning off for the University of, I think it's Southern Mississippi. It's like you don't need to steal money from poor people in Mississippi to build
Yeah.
a volleyball stadium. I, for some reason, was under the impression that it was like he had gotten one of those COVID loans. And all the worst people got COVID loans and then spent them on shit they weren't supposed to. No, he actually stole state
Yeah.
funds with the help of the governor and and state employees for his failing concussion business.
Yes. The
For
Prevenix,
yes,
the medication for concussion.
for his volleyball court and just personal $1.1 million to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Has
And
he
I
come
thought it
out
was-
and said anything?
No.
Oh, he blames the media. He says
Yeah,
the
and
media has
yeah.
slandered him.
And he got out of it. He's still being still a civil lawsuit against him.
And you see
so
him
he- Yeah, you see him testify,
in
front of-
Congress.
in Congress, and then they're all like kind of fanboying out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
and then
come up
I thought
and
it was
ask him to sign their jerseys, and it's like you guys are fucking losers.
I
Wow,
thought
what
it was interesting that Michael Vick was in there because, this
Yes.
is obviously like we know where we stand on what he did. But he is talking about how when you do a crime, most justice systems you have to do the time. And he's basically saying, "Hey, I went to prison, and this guy has done
Yeah.
something just as bad, if not worse, like robbing from an entire state, right? And nothing. He's not saying that
Nothing.
explicitly,
Treated
but
like
it's
a
pretty
god.
interesng that he,
I thought so too.
is
Yeah.
not that he's the only other quarterback in this, only quarterback willing to step up and speak out and say something. I thought that said a lot.
Yeah, and I think because I was like, that's interesting when he was at the beginning, and then when he was at the end, it was like, oh yeah, I mean, he's obviously making a commentary on how much race plays
Race
into
plays
this.
into it.
And
Yes.
and then
For
they have a Mississippi congressman, older black man who I loved, who is also he's like, I am putting myself on the line by even criticizing this man,
Right.
even though he stole from my constituents. Like it's my job to go, no, you shouldn't do that. And they end it by being like, he would walk into a room in Green Bay right now and he would be treated like Jesus.
Yeah.
People
No hard
need
feelings.
People need Jesus, I think, is what the main point,
Yeah.
the main takeaway
Yeah.
is.
So
Pretty
he's lost some endorsements. And that's about it. Sorry, this is the last thing I'll say. I also thought it was interesting too when they were talking about his dad, who has the face of a bulldog, rest in peace, Irv, and how like this one sort of like reporter from Green Bay was talking about how like Irv was such a like hard ass and was like never proud of Brett, and like that kept Brett in line, and then when he died, Brett sort of went off the rails, and I'm like, maybe maybe the way he was raised was not a positive environment for a young boy.
Right.
Like maybe being terrible to your son and never telling him you love him or are proud of him means he's gonna
consequences.
yes. That was so weird to
Damn.
me.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's interesting.
I have a nominee for Sports Bitch of the Week if you guys don't.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Let's make it Jen Sturger. Jen Sturger
Yeah.
is our Sports Bitch of the Week.
Yeah.
I think also if I can have a second one, we
Yes.
could have a duplo.
We have a duo.
I would just like Nigeri Kennedy, who is the pitcher for Texas Tech softball. She just helped them go to the finals of the Women's College World Series. They're going to be playing Texas. It's Texas versus Texas Tech. And so whoever
Yeehaw.
wins,
I know who's going to be
it will
watching that.
It's the very first time that we will have a new champion. It's been like it's been like Oklahoma and like all these other schools forever. So neither one of these teams has ever won a Women's College World Series. So this is a new champion being crowned. It's very exciting. Obviously,
exciting.
Patrick Mahomes, big fan, went to Texas Tech. He helped recruit Nigeri from Stanford.
Wow.
She's
Wow.
the only $1 million softball player in women's softball history. And she is just incredible. So she
Amazing.
helped them win. She also is the home run leader on their team.
She looks
Not
really cool
only
too.
does she throw 700 straight pitches in this entire
She's Shohei
playoff.
Ohtani.
Yeah. She hit she did not have a great hitting game yesterday, but she leads the team in home runs and she only hit for half the season.
Wow.
Whoa, that's so impressive.
Final thing, congrats to Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. A secret wedding that, of course, the paparazzi ruined.
Ruined.
Probably like fucking helicopter over
so-
top.
You can
Like,
tell from the
fuck
pictures. It's
off.
like, you're so rude.
I feel
You're
guilty
so rude.
looking at the picture.
I
I know,
No,
me too.
but I wanted to
hope
s-
it was from a quiet drone
Yeah.
that they didn't even hear.
Larry
Yeah,
David
yeah.
was there. The
She already changed her name on Instagram to Haley Allen Steinfeld.
Ooh, interesting. I'm surprised not Haley Steinfeld Allen. Okay, I'm gonna do a
Honestly, Haley Allen sounds cool.
Yeah,
even.
Haley Allen.
Haley Allen. Haley
I'm
Allen's
sure
a movie
that
star.
that
I
was
finally
got to
saw-
be the thinking behind it.
I finally saw Sinners.
Oh,
It's so good. She's
So good.
She's having a great year.
Okay,
I mean,
I
that
gotta see
movie
that.
that movie's going to win a ton of Oscars. We're going to get to see Josh Allen at the Oscars.
I
And
know.
that's exciting.
So
Maybe the Super Bowl and the Oscars.
oh, I love that.
Imagine what a run.
Yeah.
Big year for those two. All right, guys, that is our show. We will be back next week. How many more episodes do we have? We should give the people a heads up that we're going to be shutting down for a bit.
Well, I'm going to be
3?
induced in 1 month.
Okay.
I'll go from the hospital if I need to.
Reporting
Well,
live.
are we
my
shutting?
little-
You and I
From
can't.
Bring my
Against
little
Vagina.
mic and-
You and I can't do it
I'll be
together,
like,
right?
I'm-
Right? Sorry.
Yeah, you can. You can do it without me. Who needs me? I'll call in and go, I'm 3 centimeters. And you're like,
Yeah.
you don't want to know.
Well, we would just get a check-in from you, and then we would
That's a good
fill
call.
everyone
That's a
in.
good call.
Yeah.
Should we have a third? Should we have a guest host while Megan's out? Who would that-
Pablo
Meg-
Torre
I love that. I love
What
that.
if we just have Megan's mom?
or my dad.
Or-
he's
Oh yeah.
knocking on
Sorry,
the door.
Megan's mom, but I vote Megan's dad.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, we will be back next week. Love ya. Bye.
Love ya.